Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. Rowpaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news. It's Mondays with Mallory with KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's John Mallory. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame. Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 95.3 FM The Ticket and online at KTIK.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, here's Johnny Ballgame and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing? Happy January 3rd to you here at Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com. We got Johnny Ballgame. It said Mondays with Mallory, but we're switching Johnny to Wednesdays now. Johnny, I have a New Year's resolution for you. I promise I promise everybody out there in the next week or so, I will find the time to update the intro video. So we have the correct current coach holding the trophy, the current trophy. So we have the correct current coach doing interviews, and I've got an older video on there that's outdated. So I will be updating the intro video here shortly. I can promise
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. And while you're at it, take a look at the commercials. Forrest has to be a billionaire after mowing all these damn lawns. And that woman would have sold her truck to that dude like 2 years ago, man. Let's go, BNN. Where's that production team?
And there's
JP
some
not existent. Allow that.
Not existent is the production team. So you're looking at it. So I will get that done as soon as I can. We also have at least one former athlete that's still being mentioned on an NIL deal that no longer exists. So we'll be, we have to update some of that. And I apologize. But I've literally been in Boise, Johnny Mallory, 3 days in the last 4 weeks with the bowl game,
it's crazy,
and then the Washington State basketball game, and then just a lot going on. But I will be back. I'm back for 1 day in St. Louis, and then going straight to San Jose tomorrow for the basketball game on Friday. And then I will finally be back in Boise on Saturday, and we'll be done traveling, at least other than the quick trips for the basketball games for a while. So, nice. I saw that again and kind of rolled my eyes. I will get the videos updated, I promise. But haven't talked to you in a while, Johnny. We obviously gave you the week off last week for the holidays. And a lot has gone on, but not a lot has gone on as well in terms of lack of news in the transfer portal for Boise State. Still waiting for that last assistant coach for the football team. I know fans are getting a little restless there, Johnny, and I do want to talk about the lack of news and what that means from the football side of things. No quarterback yet from the transfer portal, no other additions or subtractions to the roster. Things have kind of been status quo with the football team for the most part since signing day and going back since the bowl game. So we'll get into that. I do want to talk basketball as well, just like we all expected. John Mallory, Jeff Linder, and the Wyoming Cowboys sitting atop the Mountain West standings at 1-0. So a nice win for Jeff Linder. San Jose State was up 17 and then blew it to Wyoming on a buzzer beater for Wyoming last night. So Boise State will face a San Jose State team on Friday that blew a 17-point lead on the road in Laramie. And I'm sure that they will be fired up. We were actually on the Tyson Degenhart show. We had Tyson and Lexus Williams on live when that buzzer beater was hit for Wyoming last night. So we were reacting to that kind of in real time. So Wyoming gets the win. San Jose State comes back to face Boise State. And if you remember when Tim Miles came on our show at Media Days, he predicted that they'd be 0-1 in conference play when they played Boise State, and he was correct. So that was
a nice win for the folks, man. And San Jose State, dang, man, that's what could have been. And now they're facing 0-2 in the conference when they could have been at 1-1 with a loss to Boise State. And who knows, maybe they're going to play the Broncos tough. I can't wait just for the week in, week out Mountain West matchups. They're going to be a lot of fun. The nightcap, BJ, New Mexico playing well, but just not having enough to get Colorado State. Colorado State looks like they really like what's going on there in Fort Collins. That's going to be a big storyline this year too.
Yeah, it was a nice home win. Jalen House was in some foul trouble for New Mexico, and they just were unable to have enough firepower there. So Colorado State has a brutal start to conference play. They beat New Mexico last night. Now they go on the road, Johnny, back-to-back games. Saturday, they are in Logan, Utah. And then they make the road up. They make the road up to Boise. Tuesday, they are in Boise. And I don't know this for sure, but I would assume they're probably just going to bus up on Sunday and stay on the road to come to Boise. I don't know if they chartered and they're going to go home for a day and a half. I'm not sure, but they play Saturday in Logan and then Tuesday in Boise. And if they can win in Logan, and if Boise State can take care of business on Friday in San Jose, that could be quite the battle at Extra Mile Arena, our first kind of classic big crowd, big energy night of what could be many here in conference play. Mike Burns is going to join us here in about 20 minutes, the assistant coach. Always love catching up with Burns, Johnny. The defense getting better, the rebounding getting a little better to go on here, but Mike Burns always has a great perspective on things, and he's going to help us kick off conference play here in about 20 minutes.
No, that'll be fun, man. I want to get talk some hoops with Burns, diagram, maybe even look ahead to Colorado State, certainly talk about San Jose State and getting conference play going, and he's always good copy, man. I'm looking forward to catching up with old Burnsy, Mr. Seattle era, grunge era rock promotions guy. That guy's been to more concerts and big bands concerts, mega groups than I've ever talked to. He's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, no, that was one of the most fun stories I wrote last year, was kind of hearing all the stories from Mike Burns that had nothing to do.
Yeah, you wrote that.
That guy could write a book. I mean, there was so many stories. I could have written the whole story on and had nothing to do with basketball, just with how interesting his life has been. So we'll try to avoid some of that. I feel like every time we get him on, all we do is say, tell us a story about when you met Pele. Tell us about the time you stepped in the box against Nolan Ryan and all these stories. But we'll try to keep it mostly on basketball. But I know he's a big football guy as well. Was probably watching the semifinals the other day. By the way, your Seahawks, man, just a pathetic effort the other day. Man, Johnny,
you must have lost a couple bucks on them.
I was in Las Vegas watching that at the sports book. Could have used your Seahawks there, but that's okay. We'll move past that.
I don't think they'll beat the Cardinals this week, so I'll give you a tip there. Take the Cardinals in the money line, BJ.
Wow. We got a lot of comments and things coming on the ICCU YouTube chat. Make sure you get in your questions for Mike Burns, your thoughts on the basketball team, the football team. We'll take them all. And yes, as Nathaniel points out, the Boise State women are in action tonight at Extra Mile Arena, the first conference home game for them. I believe they're playing Nevada, and we will have Brandon Walton there covering that game for Bronco Nation News. So check BroncoNationNews.com later. We'll have full coverage of that. Nate says he missed some Johnny Ball game in his life. So Nate, we're happy that Johnny can be back to do that for you. Let's start with football though, Johnny, since Burns is coming on a little later. We'll transition to basketball, but we haven't talked football in this show in a while. Me and Jay were pretty much all basketball yesterday. And Nitz Keaton points out, weird that we haven't heard a single piece of QB news besides Spencer Danielson saying he ideally wanted a guy by January 1st. Where are you at, Johnny, on the lack of news? And I saw somebody posted on Twitter, and they're correct. I mean, right now, if you just look at who's expected to come back and where the roster's at, you only get 85 scholarships. And I know that can even work its way out. But it's not like Boise State, as of right now, Johnny, has like 10 spots they have to fill. The roster's pretty much full right now. So if you're going to add guys are going to have to leave, and that always does happen. But I guess right now the math is that the roster is pretty close to full, or maybe already even over the 85 limit. So I don't think you're going to see something where Boise State just adds like 10 guys from the transfer portal. I think one or two, the right guys, could come in here, but I don't think it's going to be this massive addition all over the field that fans are expecting. But I think the one position that everyone is expecting, and it'll be very puzzling and surprising if they don't, is to add a quarterback. And I think that's the one spot, Johnny, where you have Maddox Matson coming back, you have CJ Tiller coming back. I mean, maybe Bush and Spencer decide they're they're happy with what they got, but we were all at the signing day press conference, and it sure sounded like they thought they were going to, add the right guy in the portal, and said they were working on it right now. And then we saw the reports of Brock Purdy's brother transferring from Nebraska, and that he was, maybe going to be a guy that could consider Boise State. We've seen him put some offers out on social media, but haven't seen anything else since in terms of Boise State and what's going on there. So I know fans are getting a little nervous, Johnny. I know, the semester doesn't start for another week or whatever, and you can even add guys once school has started. And heck, you could wait till the spring or summer and add somebody, before there's a lot of time, 8 months or whatever before training camp starts. But where are you on the lack of news in the transfer portal, and particularly at quarterback?
Yeah. Is it weird that there's been no news? Here's what's weird is that college football, it used to operate one way. Every team followed the same schedule. You knew what happened and when it happened. And now I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's weird not to go into the portal. I don't know if it's weird to go into the portal a bunch. There's so many different ways to operate now in college football in this free-for-all system. It seems that we have, just get whatever you can, however you can get it. And hey, it's just one big arms and rat race. So yeah, I don't know if it's weird. I would think that you want to make every position group better. That's what a coach would say. Okay, well, let's just, in this case, look at the quarterback group. Let's look at this room. Let's look at this position. And I think, yeah, okay, you have a starting quarterback in Maddox Madsen who did some nice things, who I think you can feel capable with winning a Mountain West championship next year. Going into the season, Maddox Madsen, I don't think hinders your chances of winning the league. But when's he coming back? We're still kind of unclear, right? I know Prater's talked to Spencer. I think you have too. We expect him in August, right? I mean, that's kind of where we are. We don't know if he's out for spring, but we expect him to be ready when fall camp begins, BJ?
He should definitely be ready by then if all goes well.
So he's ready by then, but until then, I mean, you're going to go through that entire process with what you have. And Spencer's loyal, man. He likes his guys. He probably wants to give Colt Fulton every opportunity to at least be QB3 at this program if CJ Tiller is going to be his QB2. Maybe that's scaring some players off in the portal. We don't know. Maybe they have tried and they are swinging and they are missing because they are selling the culture, the brand, the bleed blue Boise State brotherhood more than, hey, here's how much money we have. And whoever's looking at Boise State looks and says, okay, well, who is there? You're looking at basically Mad Dog, but maybe the other pieces by, maybe you think you have a better chance to get more snaps at another place. I don't know. Again, this landscape of college football, who the hell knows what's weird or not? It could happen today. Maybe it won't. Is the portal actually, the portal's not even open right now, is it? Could they announce a commit today through the portal, BJ?
It was open for 30 days. I will say this. I should know this, whether it's open or not, but that doesn't matter. That's just to enter the portal. You can add a guy whenever you want. So
good
even
point.
if the portal is, even if the portal is quote unquote closed, that just means you're not allowed to go into the portal. If you're already in there, you can sign whenever you want. There's no time.
And that's who they would get. They would find someone who's already in there. I'm sure they're talking to players, but Boise State and the transfer portal have not been peanut butter and jelly yet, right? I think Cade Beresford's a two-time all-league player. Cade Beresford was a massive hit in the portal. That was a job well done. You got a two-time all-league tackle in the portal. That's an A grade. Other than that, find me an A grade portal transfer. So Spencer Danielson, there's a way.
Find you a B. Who else is there, man?
A B in the portal. Transfer portal. Penry, a C. He played a little. You're grasping at straws there. Sure, BJ.
I mean, if you look at the last couple of years, Jackson Cravens came in, did a couple things along the defensive line. But I feel like when you go get a portal guy, you want an immediate impact. I mean, nowadays you do. You don't want to, you want a guy that's going to come in right away. And last year, as we talked about, they certainly with Titus Toller and some of these guys swung and missed. Cheese right. They went for the Power 5 backups and it didn't work. And the previous year they went for the lower level star like a George Starless, and that certainly worked out until he got injured. That's an interesting dynamic. Yeah. Do you go for the 4-star guy that couldn't cut it somewhere else, or do you go for the guy at the lower level or lower school that maybe has amazing stats and has proven it? That's a interesting way for them to look at it. Josiah says, hoping there's some secret we don't know about in the transfer portal. So many players in the portal. Surely we can get one. If we had a star QB, we would be unstoppable. Someone's asking about Maeva, the UNLV quarterback that just entered the portal yesterday or the day before. I doubt that he would transfer in conference. What is the update on Brock Purdy's brother? Josh says there is no update, I guess, is what I've seen. I mean, we saw TCU, was it Cal, I believe, and then North Texas. There's been a couple offers that he's reported on social media, but have not seen too much about that in terms of what's happening with him. There was some reports from the Nebraska, media that said that Boise State was his likely destination. Remember, his brother, I think, visited Boise State but did not commit. The commit was Zach Wilson. People get that confused sometimes. Purdy's brother, though, was down to Boise State and maybe one other before he committed to Iowa State. Brock Purdy did, Johnny, right? He was seriously considering. I mean, there's a famous photo out there of Brock Purdy in the Boise State jersey and all that, on his visit. But maybe the family still likes it and the brother likes it. Maybe that's an option. Now, there are some official visits this weekend, as Sky says. I don't know for sure who's visiting, but we might get some news here in the next few days or week on that, Johnny, because this is an official visit weekend, so you'll have some official visitors coming in, maybe from the portal, maybe high schoolers. We'll see. Let's see. Nate says, Johnny, if the staff is happy with what they've got with the current QBs, then they are resigned to not making the playoff. Current stable is not it. Do you think they have to add somebody, or do you think that would fans be upset if they went into the year with the two they have now?
I don't know. You ask yourself. I mean, so you don't feel comfortable being able to challenge for the group of 5 or a top 6 conference champion bid with Maddox Madsen as your quarterback. That's what that guy's saying. He's saying they need to go into a portal and they need to get an A1 level big time. Hey, maybe you have to open up our checkbook, transfer portal quarterback. There's a lot that comes with that. Giving the whole offense, or hey, we're bringing this new guy in. Say hello to your new quarterback, everyone. Yep, here he is. Oh, and by the way, everybody knows now he's making $180,000. He's going to start. What that does to the dynamic, and a dynamic Boise State, that might be their best trait, is how they're able to develop, how they've developed this culture and how they sustain it. How players don't leave very often in the case at Boise State. And I think Green and McAllister are explainable. Fine. But in most cases, that doesn't happen, BJ. So if they were to go that route and get the big high price bonus baby free agent transfer portal kid, then maybe some people feel that that's their only way. I don't think this coaching staff's going to make that move, BJ. I think this coaching staff disagrees with that commenter, and this coaching staff feels that Maddox Madsen can take you wherever it is that you need to go and where you want to go, and we all know where that is in this town.
Hey, let's take a quick timeout. We're backed up for a 90-second break here. We got Mike Burns coming up in a little while. Want to talk some Boise State basketball as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep the discussion going back in 90 seconds on Bronco Nation News.
All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU, and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com.
All right, Johnny, we got a lot of comments still rolling in. I wanted to talk a little basketball, but
Sure.
folks are talking about Ty Thompson, the Oregon transfer. They really like to see him. Nate says he'll go streaking in his neighborhood if that happens.
That'd be big. I'm hearing it could be Wazoo for Tyson Thompson too, and that'd be a great fit. Follow what Cam Ward did there, have a big time year, and then get paid. Wazoo is looking like one of those schools, BJ. They can't offer you money, but they can offer you really good stats and somewhat of a limelight. I know that'll change next year, but Boise State could get in the mix. I don't see them going for a Tyson Thompson, but that would be a big deal in this town. He's very sought after, BJ, and he's had a tough go at Oregon, obviously, them bringing in all these quarterbacks ahead of him, but who knows? But the guy, you're talking about another guy who's never played. He's going to come in here and be better than Mad Dog next year immediately. I don't know.
TNT is asking about Giovanni.
He might start at Oregon State. I think he will. Talking about Vonnie McCoy, the former Vandal.
He already committed, right? Yeah.
He's a Beaver, man. He's trying to do the DJ Ugalele thing. I mean, that's the thing. Like my boy Eck tells me, like FCS schools are almost getting rated more than group of 5 schools because very few FCS kids want money. They just want a tastier hamburger. They want a better airplane. They want nicer gear. They want more fans in the stands. They want better looking cheerleaders. I don't know, and FCS kids are willing to jump up and you don't need to pay them. They just want a bigger opportunity. Yeah. And so that's happening there. And Boise State, I don't know, maybe they go that route. I like that route. Like you said, BJ, do you get the FCS all conference kid? Or do you get the Power 5, hey, my coaches are screwing me over kid? I don't know. You tell me which kid's a little hungrier. Who knows? But it feels like you get a lot of success grabbing that Big Sky all-star and giving him an opportunity, BJ.
All right, let's switch and talk basketball. Mike Burns going to join us in a couple of minutes. The Broncos 9-4 heading into conference play. We were both there last week, Johnny, at Extra Mile Arena. They took down Utah Valley, and now they kind of wiped the slate clean. Start conference play on Friday night against San Jose State. Just where are you at with this team right now, and how you feeling about the Broncos heading into conference play?
Here we go. It's going to be a hell of a conference. BJ, I think they got to go 13-5. I mean, that's kind of the march with college basketball, right? It is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And that pot of gold is the stinking tournament. You want to be a part of Selection Sunday, March Madness, something that you and I absolutely revere. We talk about it every year. We love our college basketball. And here we are with conference play in 13-5, BJ. That's the number for me. They need to find a way to go 13-5. And I don't need to nitpick what their losses will be and what their wins will be. To me, 13-5 in this league will come with several marquee victories, probably even come with a loss or two that you wish you had back. So that's it for me. And last night, I think a perfect indication, New Mexico giving Colorado State a lot at home last night, and Wyoming probably should have lost. A Linder special, a Linder comeback. They win at the buzzer. I think that's what we're going to get night in, night out in this league. And I think Boise State, BJ, they are right in the mix. The only reason they're off on that is because the 4 losses, all those other teams sweep through their non-con and are sitting pretty when it comes to record. But Boise State, they got some work to do, and I think they're ready to do it.
And I said something similar to this yesterday, but BSU Bill says 8 games against the bottom feeders, got to go 8-0 in those games, and then go 5-5 against the top half of the league. That gets you to your 13-5. And I think the big thing, Johnny, is when you're playing the San Jose States of the world, those have to be wins. You have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat in the bottom half, as he said, go 8-0, whatever the number is. And then you got to hold serve at home too. I mean, you cannot expect to win. As good as you think you are, you can't expect to win the majority of the games on the road at Nevada, at Colorado State, at San Diego State, in Logan, in the Pit. I mean, you might even take 2 and 3 in those games. I mean,
you're not going to win all those games, man.
But the trade-off is you got to beat the teams like San Jose, and then like a game like Tuesday against Colorado State becomes a massive game too to kind of hold serve at home. So they're going to have to win some of these games, and certainly Friday night against San Jose. And someone said need to give the Spartans a beat down after the flop down there last year. I would fully expect, Johnny, after them losing in San Jose last year, this also being the first conference game of the year, I would suspect Boise State comes out and plays well on Friday.
They'll put you to sleep sometimes at the event center. We've both been there. It is the gloomiest, boringest, smallest community college form of a gymnasium that I've ever seen a Division I basketball team play in, man. So sometimes they put you to sleep with the 1700, and I think this year, I think there's going to be more fans there. San Jose State's getting a little cooler, and Tim Miles, this team's pretty good. They'll win some games, I think. And Boise State, you're right, though. They need to be ready. This won't be an easy win. It's crazy, BJ. I don't know what easy games are going to be in this league this year. Home, what do they have? 9 home games in the league? Yep. I think, we must win 7 of those and hope that you win all 9.
Yeah. Hey, we got to take our last quick 90-second timeout. Mike Burns is going to join us in 90 seconds. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep the basketball talk going with Coach Burns on Bronco Nation News.
Bronco Nation News is sponsored by Tommy Alquist and Ball Ventures Alquist, Idaho's premier commercial real estate development company. BVA projects specialize in office, retail, flex, medical, and industrial spaces located at some of the most strategic and visible locations in the valley. Need a developer? Looking for new space? Think BVA. At BVA, we are Idaho's developer. The Nicolason family and SON management have proudly been operating Taco Bell restaurants in and around the Treasure Valley since 1969. One of the first to make a 7-figure donation to the Lyle Smith Society, they've also stepped up their support of Boise State athletics with the Taco Bell men's and women's basketball endowed scholarships. The Nicolason family and SON management have committed at least $310,000 by 2026. Get more information on their financial support of Boise State athletics and find information on applying to work at Taco Bell at TacoBellWorks.com. Lithia Ford of Boise is a proud supporter of Boise State Athletics and the official car and truck of the Broncos. Lithia Ford of Boise supports Bronco student athletes through NIL deals, including providing Ford vehicles to Taylon Green and Riley Smith from the football team and Paige Barsh from the volleyball team. Rain's family purchased our F-150 from Lithia Ford. Couldn't be happier with the purchase. Check out the all-electric F-150 Lightning or the electric Mustang Mach-E at Lithia Ford, and make sure to check out their full inventory of vehicles at LithiaFordBoise.com. The Blue and Orange Store is the perfect spot to get all your gear for your next Bronco game. The Blue and Orange Store has official Nike apparel, including jerseys, shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, and more. Wear what the Broncos wear and get it at the Blue and Orange Store, the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall, or get free shipping on a $40 order online at theblueandorangestore.com.
All right, Johnny, let's not waste any more of his time. Let's bring in our guest. We mentioned it, Mike Burns. If I can switch, hold on a second. I'm doing something wrong here. All right, we'll get to Coach Burns in 1 second. I screwed up the graphic. Coach Burns, nice enough to join us. We appreciate him, and here he is. We'll welcome him in right there. There he is. How we doing, Coach?
Boy.
Gentlemen, how we doing this morning?
We're doing good. We appreciate you coming on. Sorry we're a minute late getting to you here. We know your time is limited, but conference play, we enjoyed watching those games last night. I know you're a basketball junkie. Obviously, you're watching all these games. You're looking ahead to teams. You're playing all this. But just to have conference games and common opponents and getting this thing rolling last night, what was it feeling like for you?
Well, it's here. It's go time. And it's, I think our guys are ready. I think our staff's ready. We've been looking forward to it. But make no mistake, the Mountain West is a gauntlet this year. And, I heard you guys talking earlier when I first called in and, you like this game we're about to play. Sometimes you say San Jose State and people just make assumptions about how things should go. And let's not forget that San Jose State program beat us in that building last year when we had an NCAA tournament team that had a 12-point lead with like 5 to go. So it's very much got our attention, and, we're excited to get started.
What you look at, I know I'm curious how this works, and I don't think you had the scout for San Jose. Maybe you have the Colorado State scout, but how are you coaches looking 2, 3, 4, 5 games in advance? Because obviously you got the game on Friday against San Jose, but you turn around Tuesday and play Colorado State. So I know you're watching that game, and you're obviously not looking ahead, but you've got to do some advanced work. How does that work for you? And when you're watching a game like last night, are you just watching it as a fan? Or are you already taking notes? How do you look at games like that?
Well, we're always taking notes. I mean, me and Coach Duryea kind of swap scouts back and forth, and so he has San Jose, I'll have Colorado State. So I'm watching Colorado State and San Jose State simultaneously, and but make no mistake, all our focus is on San Jose State right now. I mean, we've got to prepare some things. You've got to do your due diligence to get ready for games that are in the future, but every ounce of our focus is on the San Jose State Spartans and getting ready for that first conference game.
Hey, Bernsey, what are they best at? If San Jose State has a superpower, what is it?
Well, I think there's a couple things that they do extremely well. One, they have in Cardenas, they may have one of the 2 or 3 best point guards in the league. I mean, he's playing at a really high level right now, and he's the conduit for the next thing that they're really good at, which is 3-point shooting. You put him in pick and rolls, and he does a great job of kind of occupying 2 defenders so he can spit the ball to one of their 3-point shooters. And so it's a real challenge because for us, we try to make pick and rolls basically a 2-on-2 game because we don't want to have to overhelp off shooters to allow them to get shots. So he's good at trying to make that a 2-on-1. And that's going to be a challenge for us is to kind of keep him under control. And it's not, last night he scored at Wyoming and did a good job. His ball was going in, but he's kind of the quarterback of their thing. And they've got, 4 of their 5 starters who all can make 3 or 4 threes in a game and really cause you problems. So that's probably their greatest strength. And then I think, defensively, they're always going to do things to, gum up the game a little bit. They'll change defenses. You'll see some zone. You'll see some man. They'll trap in the post. So they'll do some different things to try to throw you off your game there. But, offensively, it's the point guard quarterback in the operation, and it's their 3-point shooting that causes you some concern.
We got a couple of questions coming in on our YouTube chat here, Coach Burns, that we will throw at you here in a second. But I did wonder, you mentioned last year in the game late in the season, you were coming off the big win against New Mexico, had the San Diego State game on tap. You guys went down there, as you said, to San Jose and lost that game. I know you got a new team, but you got a lot of guys that are back and remember that. And the fact that this is the first conference game of the year, you guys had the bye, you're waiting around to have to play. I mean, I personally feel it's going to be a fired-up group that's going to play well on Friday. Is there any talk of last year's game or any extra motivation this time around?
Well, I think, some of our veterans that were around last year have addressed it with the newcomers. And it's a unique environment because when you go on the road in Mountain West play, you play in some of the best environments in all of college basketball. Yeah. And so and we do that at home. Extra miles, an unbelievable building to play in. You go to San Jose and that environment is nowhere near those others. So you kind of got to get your mind right for dealing with that. And Coach Rice does a good job of kind of prepping our guys for those sort of things and keeping their focus. And I mean, it's, hey, at the end of the day, last year was last year and it's got our guys' attention. And so, I think the fellas will be hooked up and ready to go.
Hey, Bernsey, Abo, we've all seen the transformation offensively, the 3-point shooting. Tell us about the transformation, if there has been one, defensively. Like, I watched that game last night, Colorado State, New Mexico, and I'm thinking, okay, if I'm Bernsey here and I'm in this game, I'm putting Abo on Stevens. I'm going to Scottie Pippen, Phil Jackson, Scottie Pippen on Mark Jackson type of thing. Where is Abo as a defender and the improvement?
Oh, he's made huge strides. I mean, he from when he first got here, he came from a Texas Tech program that stresses defense, but they did it differently than we do it. So he had to learn some new things, and there's some nuances to pick and roll coverage that he's had to, obviously get better at, but he's done that. And he's really taken a step forward as, an elite perimeter defender for us. And night in and night out, he's always going to draw a pretty challenging assignment. And so, he's a guy that gives you size, guarding the ball and guarding the wing. But he's also, strong and he can move. So he's having a very good year for us, and we're all proud of him because he's had to take those steps that players have to take to become who he's become.
Mike Burns, our guest, assistant coach for the Boise State men's basketball team here on Bronco Nation News Live. John Mallory, BJ Rains with you. And Coach Perry on the YouTube chat here wants to know, how do you feel the defense is developing?
It's developing, and obviously you guys know the numbers that we look at and the metrics. And for me, it goes no further than the Ken Palm sheet and the number on the top of that. And we're 51 this morning in overall defense. So, right now, that number's got to get better. And so we're aware of that. And it's, part of it is we've got 2 new post players and the 2 guys that man the point guard position, one of the 2 is also new. So there's a learning curve that come for 3 out of those 4 players in terms of how we do things. And, in college basketball, probably 60-70% of the time, you're in pick and roll coverage, it's going to be a point guard and a 5-man. So those guys are continuing to improve. And as they improve, our 2-point field goal percentage defense will improve. And right now, that's the one area where we got to get better. We got to keep people off our rim and guard the 2s, and not the tough 2s, not the pull up 15-footers. We love those, but people getting lay-ins and getting at the rim shots. So that's the area we're working on, and the guys have done a great job of embracing that because they know that's what we need to do better, and they get better every single day.
And I'm not sure if you deserve the credit or David Moats, but I know the defensive rebounding is getting better as well.
Yeah, and that was, all you got to do is get that same Ken Palm sheet out, and you look at every single one of the years Leon Rice has been the head coach of this basketball program. We've been in the top 25. And so I don't know exactly where we're at this morning, but that we're not quite
45,
there yet.
45.
Yeah. So those are 2 areas that, we shore up the 2-point field goal percentage defense. And that number, that 45% on defensive rebounding, if somebody's getting an offensive rebound, usually they're in close proximity to the rim, and that results in a lay-in. So it's all tied together, and, the guys have embraced it, and we've had some great rebounding efforts in some of these past few games. And so we just want to take that momentum in the Mountain West play.
Johnny, I'll let you jump back in here, but one more question from the YouTube chat. What irritates you more, Coach? Hands not being up or feet being out of position?
Both of those things will cause me to want to slam my forehead into a cinder block wall, to be quite honest with you. We stress those things, and so they will draw my ire, and I think my fellow coaches' ire. And those are just things that, it's intensity, it's preparation, it's just, but it's habit. And so again, we've got some guys that have been in the program. I mean, you watch Max Rice, and he's not the most athletic guy on the planet, obviously. But every catch, he's got a hand up. It's ingrained in him. And Buzo's gotten that way now. He's gotten better. Tyson's that way. And so some of the newer guys, they're getting that way. And as that gets better, we'll get better. But both things. It's a tie. It's a tie.
Not falling for stupid pump fakes. You guys don't do that. And a lot of teams do in the country. And they just waste a defensive possession because one guy fell for a stupid pump fake. And then they created an entirely different set that the team was able to do on that. Burnsy, Omar Stanley, what are you learning about this kid? How is he helping you guys defensively? It seems like you got to really like what this kid's bringing to your program, right?
Yeah, I mean, both him and Cam Martin, I mean, that gives us a kind of a 2-headed monster in that front court position. And they, I mean, first of all, you're talking about great people, just unbelievable people. And they both embrace each other's success, and they're different, but they bring things, I mean, Omar's an explosive athlete, and he has a knack for putting his ball in the basket. That's just, I mean, you die to have that offensively in a post player, and he's got that knack. I think he's I think he's over, what is he? He's in the, let me look here. Yeah, 62% from the field. And then Cam's still leading us in assists, I believe.
That's great.
Yeah, Cam Martin. So when you're getting that kind of production in the front court from those guys, and they get better defensively every day, and that was the biggest challenge. The roles that they had prior to their arrival in Boise were significantly different than the roles they have with us, and the positions they played and the responsibilities they have defensively. So there was a lot to ingest for them when they got here. And not only are they doing it individually, but they're helping each other collectively. And that's what's really cool as a coach, is you see that kind of bond that they have, and the work that they put in together, and they enjoy each other's success, and they help each other during games. And a lot of times that's a lot better than, them talking to one another. A lot of times is a lot more powerful than us coaches delivering the message.
Final thing for me, Coach Burns, Leon's talked a lot about this team having such a high ceiling and so much room to keep growing and improving, even over the next 2 months here. What does have you guys, really encouraged, excited, optimism going forward into conference play about where you guys are at and where you feel you can still get better?
Well, I mean, like all the things I just addressed prior, I mean, I think I think defensively, we can make huge strides. I think defensive rebounding, we can keep getting better and better. Offensively, we've had some really good games, recently, and you see that starting to kind of come together. And so all of those things, we constantly tell our team that we feel like we're 60-70% of the way there. And so all that being said, the final piece to that puzzle is the character within the group, because there's a lot of teams right now that are 60-70% of the way there, and whether they get there or not is going to depend in large part on the character of the players within the program. And that's truly what has us most excited. Is we got great young men to coach. They're student athletes. They're great people. I mean, shoot, we set a school record for highest fall semester GPA this fall. So those are when you have guys like that to coach, they're going to embrace the process, and that's what they're doing. And the process produces the results. And so we just got to stay with it and keep pounding that rock, and good things are going to happen for us.
Well, the reason your GPA is so high is you got guys like Max who are in their 7th year of college and they're taking basket weaving. Of course they're getting A's, Burnsy.
Now, listen, that kid I think he's got one or two B's his entire time here.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they're Tyson's the same. I mean, they're just, they're really good. Like I always tell my children, I never got a B. Unfortunately, I never got an A either. So you can do the math there.
Hey, Coach,
same here.
Before we get you out here, we couldn't go full interview without one non-basketball question. Sky in the YouTube chat wants to know if you were able to see Soundgarden with Chris Cornell live before he died.
Yes, I was, many times. I actually saw Soundgarden at the old Central Tavern in Seattle way back when they first started. And his former wife, Susan Silver, who was the manager of Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Screaming Trees, a bunch of those Seattle bands. She was a friend of mine. And so when me and my wife were first dating, she got us tickets, because I saw them perform live, but I was working while I was watching. But I saw them at the Irvine Meadows Amphitheater, I think in Soundgarden and Metallica in like 1995 or 96. And Susan got us tickets and backstage passes, and so we got to see that. And Chris Cornell, I mean, holy smokes.
Wow.
Now, I'm a Seattle guy, but if there were a better set of pipes on any lead singer in the history of rock and roll, I'd sure like to see it. And I know there's some Robert Plant fans out there. We got, there'll be some metalheads come out of the woodwork and want to talk about this guy, that guy. But Chris Cornell could blow, and he was a good he was good. Yeah, I was actually, that's funny. They should ask that question, because I was trying to get within myself and calm myself. So I had my chill mix on this morning, and I actually had a little Chris Cornell singing Nothing Compares to You,
the best.
The acoustic version. So that was on the playlist that Spotify provided me to soothe my soul as I came in today to get to the job.
Well, you've at least converted one fan here. Sky says Mike Burns is my hero now. So there you go.
I appreciate that, Scott. Thank you.
We appreciate you, Mike. Thanks for jumping on. We'll let you get back to scouting and watching film and getting ready for practice. We appreciate it, and we'll see you Friday in San Jose.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
There he is, Mike Burns, assistant coach for the men's basketball team. Johnny, always fun having Burns on.
I love Burnsy, man. He can talk hoops, talk rock and roll. He's funny, and he's a treat, man. And he does a good job with this defense. I mean, they're upper half, upper echelon in that league year in, year out. A lot of that has to do with Coach Burns, his philosophies, his schemes, his ability to coach and teach. It's going to be BJ, these next 2 months, throw in a couple of weeks after that, these next 10 weeks are going to be sensational for Boise State college basketball fans and Mountain West basketball fans. I mean, I know I'm hyperbolic and stuff like this, but this might be one of the best Mountain West basketball seasons that conference has had to date. I can't wait, man.
What do we got coming up on Idaho Sports Talk?
College football hour. We're going to talk some Boise State stuff, break that down, obviously, get you ready with Bob Beeler. I think he leaves, what's today, Wednesday? I'm all messed up on my days.
That's the way it is. Yeah, today's Wednesday.
So Bob will fly out tomorrow, maybe take a peek at that a little bit too. 3:00, Prater is back. He was gone yesterday, had some travel hiccups, and we're excited to get Forrest back in studio. We haven't done a show, Prater and I, since last Wednesday.
Wow.
We've had that long off, so this will be a good one today.
All right, 3 to 6, Idaho Sports Talk, Prater in the ball game, KTIK.com, the KTIK app. You can obviously listen 95.3 FM, 1350 AM with the whole crew, Bob, JP, Prater, Johnny. Johnny, appreciate you as always. Appreciate JP for getting us on. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Listen to them today. Prater and I will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Prater will be my guest tomorrow. And we'll be listening to Idaho Sports Talk today. Appreciate you, Johnny. Have a great day, everybody. If there's any football coaching news, any portal news, we'll have you covered at BroncoNationNews.com. They'll have you covered at KTIK as well. And we'll talk to you tomorrow with Mike Prater, 9 a.m. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.